I just said we do not consent to talk to minors. What are you guys doing? Please turn your listening ears on, folks.
She gotta go. Yeah, she gotta go.
Look at John saying, Lord. How many times did I repeat we do not consent to talk to minors?
That is crazy.
I was looking at their profile. Yeah, I was gonna tell you. Yeah, we do not consent.
Oh, I can't see the profile. I wish I could.
No, it's okay. Yeah, that's why I do that. I look at the
Why, for the minors who are lurking in here, why are y'all trying to be in adult spaces anyway?
Right.
Respectfully stay in a child's place.
Oh, damn.
Don't y'all supposed to be asleep?
I think they, and I say this respectfully, like, please just, I don't know. I don't have a 13-year-old child, but if I did, and I found out they were talking to people on TikTok lives at odd hours in the night, consequences.
Also, please please refrain from using captions. Caps in the comments because that's considered something that we reserve for people that have vision issues and also the mods and the hosts. Thank you.
Correct. Thank you so much. All right, Smoothes. Welcome back. I know you haven't been here in a while, or maybe you have, and I just haven't been paying attention. But how are you?
Yeah, I've been working on like some projects and stuff.
Okay. I'm not explaining my reasoning to anyone who's in the comments. If you want to come up and explain your reasoning, why you believe what you believe related to the topic, and then we can have a conversation, you can do that by hitting the guest request button down below. But I'm personally not going back and forth with the comments. You may look up and get someone else in the live who's willing to go back and forth with you. But if you want to have a conversation with me, be bold enough to have come on up. Tap 100 likes. That's your entryway to get on live. Tap 100 likes. Everyone, that was the first guest who came up, who was too young. She got up here without tapping the likes. Everyone else has to tap 100 likes to join. The instructions are there on the screen. They haven't changed. And if you don't want to tap the likes, then you'll stay in the guest request box. That's simple. All right. Let's see. And again, John, welcome in. Yeah, John says it's dangerous. There are diddies out there. There are.
Do you actually believe this topic, or is this something debating, just a debate?
I'm not answering that question. If you want to ask me that, come up to the floor. But y'all know what you have to do. I'm canceling your guest request because you're not tapping the likes. The instructions are there on the screen. Re-request when you tap the 100 likes. It's that simple, you guys. If I'm supporting your opportunity and your time to speak and have a voice on this platform, the least you can do is support this platform in return by just doing the bare minimum of tapping 100 likes, guys. It's that simple. All right. So lately we've been, like John and I, we've been looking around like TikTok lives, and there have been an increasing amount of live content related to AI music and where that's potentially going. Like Smoothes, I don't know if you know that like in 2005, last year, the first AI song received a Grammy.
I didn't know it won a Grammy, but I did hear about that Zanaya Monet. No, well, no, this is okay. So it's kind of cool. We
no, not Zanaya Monet. It was someone else.
Okay, interesting.
Thank you, Ravens. Thank you, Ravens, for the roses. I appreciate it. Thank you. And for the people who are watching, this is not a formal debate space. This is a conversation space. If you're open to having a conversation on this topic, then again, hit the guest request button down below. And then when I hit your name, I should be able to see at least that you've tapped to 100 likes or more. That's it. But yeah, Zanaya Monet is the artist who had the record deal with them, which was like $3 million.
Yeah. I know someone who's like supposed to like make her videos or something like that, and apparently that was just like a marketing stunt.
What was?
Zanaya Monet's like $3 million record deal. They said it was like some kind of like marketing stunt.
How so? So it wasn't. You said it wasn't real?
I mean, that's what the person told me. Yeah, because I don't know if you know. So she's like pretty big in like the AI space. Her name's Diane. I forgot like Diane's like last name, but she does a lot of like AI stuff. She wins a lot of awards and stuff. And she got contacted by Zanaya Monae's like record label, and they wanted like some videos made or something, but they weren't trying to like really like back up the money truck for her, you know. I don't know.
Okay, so wait.
The actual artist, like the actual person who like I don't know. I think it might have been like Zanaya Monae's record company or something that reached out or whatever. But
Hold on. Let me look at. I have no idea.
yeah,
Honestly, I have no idea
it's
what
like
you're talking
inside
about.
baseball. Yeah. Basically, what I'm doing, I'm like it's like inside baseball right now. What I'm doing, but
Okay, hold on. I have no idea what you're talking about, so I'm trying to look it up.
no, so it doesn't inside baseball, meaning like like somebody.
So the person behind Zanaya Monae, you said was named Diana?
No. Like Diane, she is a AI creator, and like the record
Okay.
company wanted to work with her, or whatever. Because like Diane, like she's been winning a lot of awards and stuff. What's her actual name? Give me a second.
So how does that relate to how does Diane relate to Zanaya Monae?
No. What I'm saying is like Diane was going to be like making like AI videos for Zanaya Monae, but the record company wasn't trying to, I guess, like pay or whatever. But her theory is like the record, she doesn't have like that $3 million like record deal like it's like that's like clean, you know. That's all I'm trying to say. No,
I'm lost.
no. Look. Okay. Look, I'm just saying what. Wait,
Because
what's that?
I mean, I don't know many. I mean, I know the human artist behind Zanaya Monae is a black woman. I don't know many black
Right.
women that are named Diane.
I'm not saying no. Diane isn't the person behind Zanaya Monae. She's like a
Yes, it's
like
separate.
actual actor. Yeah, it's a separate person.
So, okay, so we have a separate person who is supposed to be making AI videos of Zanaya Monae. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes.
So what? Okay, so from there, what was your original point that you were
No,
trying to
my
tell us?
point is like, but basically my point is like the claim that she has like a $3 million record deal that's not what like she believes that she doesn't have a $3 million record deal. Is what I'm trying to say. It was like the $3 million record
Based on
deal.
what?
I don't know, just based off like the like dealing with the record company.
Did she see contracts?
I say what now?
I said, did she see contracts or
Yeah.
anything
She said she did. Yeah, I mean, because like
that would
we like
disprove
yeah
everything that we've heard?
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we talked on Clubhouse and stuff like that. You know, like let me like pull up her actual thing. Hold on. No, she didn't get any money. What I'm trying to say.
Diane
Right.
didn't get money, or the lady behind Zanaya Monae didn't get money?
Diane didn't get any money. Hold on, let me
So
give
that's
you
why she probably loves sour grapes.
let's
That's my
see.
guess. Ooh, that took us a lot to wrangle our minds around just to get here. All right, guys, continue tapping the likes on the screen. Again, if you want to have this conversation up with me on whether AI art can or cannot be considered art, tap 100 likes and come on up to the panel. I would greatly appreciate it. You have the ability to also kick people off of the live. You can gift if you want to kick a guest off. It's a donut, and maybe swap with them. Or if you want to kick a moderator off, you have to gift a money gun, but that money gun has to go to them directly. But that's if we, kind of get an open panel situation going on. So I'm looking up the Zanaya Monae information. I mean, so basically, are you saying the record company lied
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
based on Diane's words?
Yeah. Yeah, her name's like Diane Lade. She goes by her Afrofuture, FUTCHA. Good friend of mine, a good friend. Pretty cool artist. She just won. What did she just win?
There are people requesting you do look like a minor, but you have not tapped 100 likes to join. Please do that if you are trying to come up here.
Nope, they're a kid.
They are kid. Okay. They looked a little bit too young to me. All right. So yeah. So with Zanaya Monet, Zanaya Monet signed a $3 million record deal with Howwood Media.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just going through and reading what I can to pull out and see what works here. Hold on one second. Um, I haven't heard the words of another person. I all I'm hearing, I don't. So basically, what I'm saying is, I don't know what to believe. At least from what you've told me so far. Like, is there any other evidence that Diane has?
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. There's no way me to know. Just I don't know. Just a point of conversation. What I heard through the grapevines and stuff like that.
Okay. Interesting. Raven said you were a child, so that was Raven. That person in the comments, is that the page you went to, right?
I went to his page. He has a video with him on the bus. No,
She has a what?
on a school bus. No.
Oh no. Mm-mm. No, thank you. We prefer talking to adults. Throwback, sure. Yeah, it's best that you stay in the comments. It's okay. You can have the conversation. You can listen to the conversation from the comments. We prefer to have people up here who are an adult in this conversation. Um,
I am an adult.
okay, yeah. They're not. So that's the thing, John. They're not professors. They're like guest speakers that they bring in from like industry, from someone who's done something notable, and so they're disconnected from like what's happening within academia. Well, Steve may be a part-time professor. I don't know. Yeah, but go ahead. People on this app are already like flirting with the idea of like burning down data centers. or anyone associated with AI. They're like trying to target them now, and at least that's what they're saying with their words. So I think most people are going to be all talk, but it could take that just one individual who's off their rocker. And because they lost their job because the company wanted to pay the CEO more, they're going to blame AI for it and target people who, are who seemingly are adjacent to AI. But every single person under the sound of my voice, y'all are using AI. Every single one of us is consuming media content that's processed with AI. Which is crazy for I
Yeah.
they think that all the data centers that are being built are just built for making AI art. um,
And that's furthest from the truth. Like we literally found out that there's data centers for freaking casinos.
yep.
I said that found out that there's data centers for casinos.
I actually find data centers quite peaceful and calm, but
Mm.
yeah, I mean, and the ones that I mean, it's an engineer's kind of dream, like seeing all the machinery work, and how yeah, it's quite efficient in what it's doing. It can be in terms of like energy, right? Maybe it can be more efficient, but that's gonna come. That's why we do research. That's why we do innovation. That's why we study, how the tools and things that we're building impact the environment so that we can get better. Like this isn't the first thing that we as humans have created that has been functional and useful in certain capacities of our life and maybe been harmful to other areas in our life. Like this isn't the first invention to do that. But as time goes on, we can research better ways to utilize these tools in our day-to-day life, in our society. John, the person in the chat literally said pure glaze. If that ain't minor talk, I don't know what is. I mean, maybe they just turned 18 minutes ago, but um yeah, I again we don't all of a sudden everyone
All
is
of them.
conveniently 18. Before this topic, John, my cutoff was 21 years old, actually. And I mean, we still have
I
some good
think it needs to go
conversations.
back to it.
We should. I wouldn't mind that.
Oh, John, were you here? The first guest? Freaking 13? Some
Right.
bullshit.
Yeah. They're not even listening. They just see the screen, get mad, got steam coming out of their ears, and they just want to speak and say something instead of just saying, "Hey, let's have a conversation and listen to each other." They just want to, pop off at the mouth. But I'm concerned. Where are the parents? Like the youngest person we had coming up here was 9 years old. Where is the parents of that child?
Wait, 9 years old.
No, I'm not getting paid enough to babysit.
But you had a 9-year-old come up here one time.
Yeah,
Oh
yep.
wow, that's crazy.
It happened like probably like a week ago or a week and a half ago. They're like, I'm 9. I was like, oh no. And
Oh,
you,
that's
you could tell it was a
crazy.
child's voice versus like an adult trying to make their voice sound like a child. It was definitely a child.
Yeah, what do they know about AI?
Huh?
I'm trying to know what would they even know about AI? That even like
There you Hello, Joss B 420. Welcome in. I think John is right. I think it's whatever their favorite YouTube influencer is saying, and they hear it and they repeat it like parrots, or whatever their school teacher is saying. Um, which is interesting. Now, if that 9-year-old came up here saying, it's taking jobs that I want, I would have been like, okay, this is proof that y'all are just repeating something from somebody else. Because 9-year-old is not thinking about a career. To my knowledge, I wasn't thinking about one. I really don't. Yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting. The thing is, these graduates were complaining about AI, but they would lose their minds if social media disappeared with all the AI that it has. They would lose their minds with pitchforks, storming down every street, screaming up and down, saying that this is crucial for them to live. Take AI out of their lives, they would have a complaint. Like it's so ingrained in their everyday living, but they're complaining about it at the same time. They're reliant on it, but complaining about it. So,
Bad mistake, nigga.
hey,
yeah, Marty,
skeptical,
what the
good to
hell was
see
that?
you. Yeah, every person that has a cartoon character, I don't take seriously. So, but I was
I
being
mean, how
fair
you
with
even
that
get up here? That's
individual.
crazy.
What'd you say, Smoothes?
No, I said how you even get up here? That's like wow. But
I mean, they did tap the 100 likes. But yeah, that's what we get from the people who are anti AI. This is their rhetoric. They don't come up with solid points. They call us the N word for just existing and for having a conversation. It's not a good representation. I mean, if this is how you guys show up to a conversation, why should I believe and listen to anything else you have to say after that? Especially related to AI. But go ahead.
right.
They hear, they just hear the propaganda being forced on them, and pretty much it's just scare tactics. Literally, it's just like back then. They make you scared and afraid of it so much so that once people have like an argument, a good enough legitimate argument about it, now all of a sudden, oh well, you're supporting something that's harmful, and all this other stuff. And then when they're asked for evidence of it, or like at least given the benefit of the doubt, they can't provide it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. Oh, look who's in the building. There we
Hey,
go. We were
we was
waiting on
waiting on
you.
you.
Dr.
Right.
Pepper, baby, is good and nice.
Do do do. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Hello, hello,
How
hello.
was your evening? You must have been busy.
Yeah, like we was running around. First, we thought I would have been home an hour ago, but then they were like, "Can y'all drop these people off?" And we're like, "Yeah, we gotta drop these off." This one little disrespectful zygote with silicone and zygote on his breath. I'm sorry, got me all right together. So I had to get him together. So yeah, but now we're here, and now you're here, and I am ready. Here, clear, and back to here. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Oh, did they hear you? Did y'all hear him?
Yeah.
We heard a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah, that's the twink. Say hi.
Well,
Hey, how y'all?
hello. Welcome, welcome. Shout out to
Thank you, Grandpa.
Grandpa for the gifts. I really appreciate
Grandpa's
it.
giving us this.
Yeah, Grandpa's going off. Oh, yeah, Grandpa. Good to see you. Where have you been? I know you've been in these TikTok streets as well. All right, everyone, let's continue tapping likes on the screen. I greatly appreciate it. Tap, 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 tap. We are trying to have this conversation on AI art. Again, the anti-AI crowd, the AI art ops are being scary today. We've had nothing but children who seem like they were just born not too long ago come up on the live. We want to talk to adults. We want to talk to people. And maybe that's a thing. Maybe we've ventured into this area where people with fully formed brains, and I'm saying that because it is scientific, 18-year-olds do not have fully formed brains. Maybe it's the adults who maybe can bring some substance to this conversation because so
Some of
far,
them, some of them adults don't have fully formed brains.
yeah, that's another conversation.
My
That is
bad. I
another.
didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're right. I was like, that is another conversation for sure. We can definitely have. We have encountered those, but we met a gem of a person this morning. Their name was Knox Nor. Was that right, John? And
Cool.
they they said they were in their 50s, but they were a systems engineer, and the way they broke this topic down in ways that I was just such eloquence, and you know um
I'm sorry. God.
John is hilarious. Dr. Pearls amongst fun. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for trying to protect me from the mess. Phantom, good to see you, sir. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm all right. You have no idea. I'm on TikTok. I'm chilling, and I see the pink ring around Dr. Barry's name. It might as well be the bat signal. It's
Good.
like,
Hey, that's what I'm
oh
talking about. I was
man,
doing this
what to
because
do?
people wanted Father to go live, and he was on his way back home. And I was like, okay, I got to give the people what they want in the meantime. So I was like, maybe this could tide them over until we get Father in action. But
Yeah, because
again,
I was bored. I've been
you
bored.
were bored. What were you doing
Yeah.
in your boredom?
Oh, just actually reading at home, and then like I got like a migraine, and I'm like, this is some bullshit. So,
I hope you feel better. Oh.
yeah, thank you, sis. Oh.
My
Yeah,
mind
He
auto
said that to
completes that.
dude. He did. He
yeah,
said, "Do
that was
you know
hilarious.
what
Dang,
hypothetically means?"
I wish you had that recording because oh my gosh, that shit was hilarious.
Because my
It was
mind
so
auto
fucking
complete
funny.
that beginning of the sentence to "Do you know the Muffin Man?"
You know.
I just started thinking about the Muffin Man.
Awesome. Oh, there's 16 people watching it live.
All right,
Hello,
y'all,
y'all. There's
tap it
16 people
up.
watching it live. It's Dr. Jazzberry's Live, where we talk about technology and its impact on humanity. Today, we're talking about AI art. Is AI art? Art is AI artist? Artist. If you agree or disagree, tap 100 likes to join the panel. This is an act of good faith to let separate the trolls from those that want to actually have discourse. And when you come up, this is not a formal debate space, but we do adhere to certain etiquette. So make sure you come up with your mouth muted until you are called upon, so that you don't forget the topics that you want to respond to. And you must be 18 years or older to join the panel because we do not consent to speak to minors. So when you come up, come correct, come with respect, and make sure your logic can't be dissected.
Well, thank you, Father Trinity. Y'all better hope monkey business ain't lurking.
I know, right? That was so funny. Like, oh,
Go ahead, Ray. You,
that
you,
was
you can
hilarious.
explain.
Okay, apparently, so
Hey, Tiff.
everybody was on the panel, right? And he was, and he said he was bored. So he said, "How much to drop the whole panel?" So everybody started talking about, how like how much or whatever like that, and Dr. Barry and Father Trinity and everybody they were just talking about it, and then he came back, sent all of us money guns, the droplets, off the panel. Then he kept going back and forth. They throwing
Raven, no, you're gonna
donuts.
summon him. Raven, you're gonna summon him.
I know. I'm
Shh.
sorry.
I want to have a good panel today. Please.
It was hilarious. So the whole thing,
I mean, so
but the
I
It
way,
told
wasn't
them.
funny.
yeah,
Yeah, I told him the rules of the live were like, hey, if you want to get rid of a guest in a live, all you have to do is gift a donut. So he
yeah,
cleared out the guest by gifting a whole bunch of donuts. I
yep,
told him to gift out a mod, you have to gift them a money gun, but it has to go directly to them, right? So he started gifting money. He went away for like a few moments, like a few minutes. Like I
yeah,
didn't see him in the live, and then he came back, and it just started was raining money guns all over the place. And then Father Trinity, he came back on his backup accounts, and then Monkey nipped him again on his backup accounts with another money gun to get him out of here.
yeah.
And then they started blocking each other and unblocking
It
each other
was
because
hilarious.
I think through one of his accounts he's a mod. So I was like, y'all are going at it.
No, he didn't block me. I blocked him. He ain't no mod. I run this. No, I'm not.
He's a
Of
mod.
course,
Not
by
okay.
name.
Monkey is
I'm
not
a
a mod.
general in the
Monkey
Queen's
is not a
Army.
mod, but the person who runs Monkey, he's a mod in another account.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's how it was getting unblocked and blocked. I was like, y'all are funny.
Oh, like absolutely hilarious.
John, we needed you. We needed you in your deep pockets, sir. We needed you.
Hmm. Yeah, because Dr. Jazz said, "Oh, if John was here, they would have went money gun for money gun." I say,
That would have been a show.
Father Tree. Yeah.
That would have been
Oh,
hilarious.
but that was insane.
John would have dropped the diamond gun to block Monkey on all accounts.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh. Well, I got to figure out what gift I can like set as a metric to say, hey, this is a permanent block for someone on the account. I don't know. Usually the people who get permanently blocked are the people who are in here doing stuff egregiously. But yeah, that was a funny day.
Oh, tell them to send a lion.
Oh yeah, is that the highest gift?
No, 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 no. TikTok universe.
Oh, the universe. Tiffany, thank you for supporting the panelists and supporting live. It's good to see
Well,
you.
personally, I don't think that, as you can see, if we offer that up, because we are people of integrity, we
Yeah,
uphold it, right? So if we were to
yeah.
do that,
I don't want no
then
one to get
somebody could
blocked
abuse it.
though.
Someone could abuse it, like they did with us, like Monkey did with us the other day. No, like
Monkey was
I had
definitely
just
having fun
introduced.
with y'all.
I had just introduced, Event King to Dr. Barry, and he was eating it up that day. Like I was like, look at that, a young black man, 20 years old, debating like a god, and mentioning, "I have no mouth, but I must scream." Come on, we have literacy still in 2026. I was so proud, but then he got dropped, and then he was
he
like,
is a
then he left.
gem. He is a gem. He is a oh my gosh, like compared to all of the other 18, 19, even like 20, 21 year olds that we've been talking on here, like the bulk of them, he was a cut above the rest. I'm like, and not even because he agreed with the topic, like even if he disagreed, the way he expressed himself and his ideas and my thoughts on point to me. So I was just like, yes, this is what I'm coming for. He's not arguing from a place of emotions. He's just, getting straight to the facts.
He was good. He was so. I mean, he was a delight on my panel. I was like, I gotta get you in front of Dr. Berry. Like, I mean, I know she's gonna love you. And yeah, like obviously he and I have a similar flair for the dramatic. So I think, of course, it resonates with me. I was like, a young me, not really, but like I see myself in him.
Did you go to
I'm sorry. I'm not expressing myself as concisely as I normally do because I'm elevated. But let's get people up here. John, I
Thank
can
you,
still handle
Ravens.
business. I can still stand 10 toes down.
I was gonna say, Father, did you go to theater school?
I did. I went to Chattanooga
Okay.
Center for Creative Arts. I was a
Woo,
musical
woo.
theater major, and I was a acting minor. But I also studied in the professional actors training program when I was in college.
I love it.
I'm
Oh,
sure
Breaker
that you.
asked, what did King say about getting dropped? I don't know what he said. Did he put
Well,
a response in the comments?
he did leave. He did leave. He said he was going to head out. But I think he was a little annoyed by it. But he didn't seem to be like I'm never coming back. Yeah, but I think he was kind of annoyed by the fact that we all got dropped, especially because he was just a
Yeah.
regular person on the panel. He wasn't a mod, so he didn't get anything out of it. The rest of us got
Oh
that
yeah.
$2.50, but the rest of it, then he didn't get
I'm
nothing
talking
out of it.
about he sent like a bunch of freaking donuts to me though after he
Dr.
sent the money
Berry,
down.
yes,
And
line in her
and I ain't
pocket.
appreciate that.
And you were you're a mod, so he didn't give you a money gun?
Yeah, he did. And then he sent a bunch of donuts. So
Oh
I
my
couldn't come back.
gosh. So yeah,
I was
I
like,
okay. At least
He
so at
said
least
he
y'all walked
said he
away
was
with
rich.
something.
He said he was rich, and now I
yeah,
believe him.
I believe it.
Hey, he's putting his money where his mouth is. I was like, maybe that could have happened when Busy did his thing. Maybe that's what would have happened if Busy would have came back with something to raise the bar with the diamond money gun, but y'all know.
See, that's why it was so important to me. Because through that whole busy ordeal, well, that's unfair. Y'all wouldn't do it. Y'all enforcing the rules, and these ain't never heard these rules before. When the rule affected me, I just shut up and leave. Like that was the understanding. It's like it didn't change because they could be inconvenient for you, my guy. Like I didn't swap accounts. Like no offense to Father Trinity, get your bag, bro. Real talk. I was just like I'm gonna respect this because these are all the rules we abide to, and if we don't, they don't mean nothing.
Yeah, I get it.
Smooth as you missed out on a lot. Was it
I
good?
found a loophole,
Yeah,
and
I can see.
y'all
I can see.
real mad.
Father Trinity said you
I
found a
found a
loophole.
loophole, and y'all real mad.
See, I don't have backup accounts like that, so I would have been stuck. I would have been like, ooh.
Well, contrary to popular belief by the AI ops, we are actually multifaceted individuals that run conglomerates in several pages and social avenues in which we create content and disperse our creativity amongst the worlds and the masses under different avenues and different profiles for those avenues. So there, you know what would be good to piss them off so they'll come up here because that's how we got to get them started. Hey, did you know, Dr. Berry, that Dragon Con and we talked about this in my live earlier, but we didn't get no bites. They banned they found out a person had apparently been used AI to produce their art in a booth, and they had a process video, that was generated with AI, but apparently it was still the process by which the AI, I guess, developed it. And so they made them leave, like made them pack up their booth and leave and stuff like that. I don't know if they got their a refund on their booth rent or any of that. I'm not sure.
So
But what
they
do y'all
pushed
think
them
about
out the
that?
event.
Yeah, pushed them out of the event.
Was AI, I mean, was there like something in any like guidelines to say that they can't allow any AI edited or assisted works?
Now, I think this particular con um, did have some guidelines therein because it's perfectly fine for them to do that. But the videos, I've seen videos of other ones like the one I saw on Anthony's page where they didn't have that posted, and the guy actually calls them out on the video that because they're the ones recording the video, and they came in calling him out, telling everyone nearby, "This is AI, this is AI," rather than just coming and telling him that he couldn't be there and that he'd have to pack up and leave because they were against that, having that there. They made sure to make a big spectacle of it, and he calls them out for not having that posted anywhere on their website. And they had to literally apologize and look and said that they were going to look into it. But what do we think about these types of incidents? Like, if these people went to the time and effort to print these prints and to make these things, and most of these things are fan art, right? So it's not like intellectual property is being stolen when somebody sat down and used a pencil to do it. So, what do we feel about that?
I think if it was like a blatant disregard for the rules and guidelines, I think it would, it would be okay to, have it removed professionally, like from I don't think they should be stormed and people coming at them with pitchforks or anything like that. But if there was nothing in the guidelines that says you can't have any AI, generated content, then I think they had every right to be there. Because oh, go ahead, John. Yeah, no, I was gonna say, because like if there was an event that's catered to only AI content and said, hey, any traditional forms of art, is not allowed. We only want AI generated images. They would, they're allowed to say that, and they can kick out whoever they want that's bringing in traditional forms of art. So I think it would kind of work both ways in that instance. So I don't like the fact that people are, immediately seeing AI content throughout a festival and just, getting up in arms and frustrated and, trying to target the individual. I don't like that, and I don't like where it's going. At least from the stories that I've heard. Yeah. There are a lot of mean-spirited elitist artists out there that are just looking to down other people's artwork because it's not made in a way that they makes them comfortable. And I'm just thinking, and that happens a lot at these festivals. Uh, it's sad to see, but Okay. Yeah, welcome back, Knox.
Hello.
Why you bring up Kirby? Oh my gosh. Knox, welcome back. How are you doing today?
I am doing absolutely fabulous. And when you have the time to let me wax poetic a bit, I did quite a bit of research since yesterday's live, and I have a whole bunch of new information to drop on everybody when you have the time for that. But I am here for it. I'm here for all of the things. After finding you yesterday, I'm so glad that you had me back. Thank you.
All right, well, let's do this because the ops are being scary today. They just want to do drive-by comments and throw insults at us. And instead of coming up, we can open the floor to hear this new research that you have because we're all here to learn. And especially most of the people here, and I think Smooth is as well. I think maybe everyone here. We are in support of AI art being art, but we try to expand our knowledge. That's why we have these lives, is to learn more from each other. So if you have something to share, we're all ears.
I do, and this might take me a little bit. I'm going to lay a little bit of groundwork. So, and we're going back into Mid-Journey Chat GPT. We're going to.
Uh-oh. You cut their mic.
Oh, that's okay. I'm so sorry. I wasn't paying attention to my screen. I have a whole bunch of notes up that I'm reading and summarizing for everybody because I'm just taking in all of the details of all of it. So dealing with generative AI, and like yesterday, I talked about a lot of the arguments have to do with LLMs, right? Midjourney, ChatGPT, and the rest of them, and they fail to take into account what actual AI is and how generative AI actually works. And we start with games. I'm sure a lot of people have played COD or the rest of it, and we're going to talk about procedural generation. Now, in the old days, a 2D artist would have to draw and render every single asset, every leaf on a tree, every polygon, right? So nowadays, we have assumptive logic. So instead of hand creating a forest, developers will write algorithms or rule sets where they design one leaf or one branch, and the computer itself uses mathematical noise functions like Perlin noise to procedurally generate the entire forest. It randomizes the height, the blend of the branches, the scatter of the leaves so that no two trees look alike. And then you have the AI ML layer, where modern engines use AI models trained on physics and botany to simulate how trees would grow or how the wind should realistically deform a digital canopy in real time. These developers do not have the time or the amount of manpower required for that many people to draw every single polygon on it. So they are, in fact, using generative technology within the AI framework for things that they're actually currently doing. Then you have the animation example, tweening, motion interpolation, and AI frame generation. In traditional 3D game animation, animators don't do 60 frames per second by hand, right? They create what's called a keyframe. In frame 1, the sword is raised. In frame 10, the sword has struck the ground. The game engine uses linear or Bezier interpolation, also called tweening, to calculate the mathematical curve between those 2 points and smoothly draw the lines between frames 2 through 9 for them. That's called an optical flow. You will find that in NVIDIA's DLSS 3 or AMD's FSR 3. It's used commonly. Game developers haven't hand-drawn every frame or manually placed every leaf on a tree in 20 years. They use procedural generation to build worlds and motion interpolation to smooth out animation. Today's technologies use predictive AI to literally invent every other frame that you see on your screen in real time. Now we get into animation, right? And we're going to go to CGI. Now, I didn't realize I was sitting on a mic drop on this one, but everybody's argument sitting there, talking about generative AI and how it is bad, and they sit there and they watch all of these movies that have contained CGI for 20 some odd years. They think CGI stands for computer graphic imagery. It doesn't. It stands for computer generated imagery and visual effects, aka VFX, right? And in movies, we still have the frame example. We have in-betweening versus AI video interpolation. You have somebody like Miyazaki in traditional animation who historically, he will draw the major key poses, the start or end of a movement, right? Then an army of lower paid assistants manually draws the in-betweens, the frame that bridges the gap. This is why a Ghibli film takes years for every single transitional frame because it is hand inked. In modern CGI and digital animation, animators use digital puppets, right? They set the keyframes on a timeline, and the software uses mathematical vector interpolation to automatically calculate how the puppet moves from point A to point B. No one is manually positioning the model for all 24 frames of a second. Then you have the AI layer, video frame interpolation. In a modern post-production visual effects, studios use deep learning models for video frame interpolation, commonly used as VFI, using neural network architectures. You can look these up. They're called RIFE, or DAIN, DAIN. The director will shoot a live action stunt at 24 frames per second, but he wants it to be hyper smooth, no blur, slow motion shot in post production, right? They don't blend or just stretch the frames, which makes it look blurry. Instead, the AI model will analyze the pixel, track the direction of the movement using optical flow, and invent entirely new photorealistic frames to insert in between the original footage. You see this a lot in crowd simulations and particle engines like leaves and forests. In Lord of the Rings, this is how Disney was able to build entire cities, massive crowd simulations rendering thousands of unique digital soldiers. This is called an autonomous agent simulation, or MASSIF, MASSIF. When you see 200,000 orcs charging a castle, an animator did not animate 200,000 individual characters. They used a software like MASSIF, which stands for Multiple Agent Simulation System in Virtual Environment, which was pioneering machine logic in the early 2000s and has since evolved in modern filmography. Then you have, things like procedural ecosystems, whereas they don't actually need an entire forest. They need a bit of it, and they can use things like SpeedTree to do procedural algorithms to sprout branches, scatter leaves, calculate how those leaves should realistically cast shadows. All of this, everything that I'm wrapping up here, it's literally math. And when you come down to the way that AI actually works, right? The way I actually works, you can think of it like a bajillion if-then statements, even though it is actually far more, it's a little more nuanced than that. You have a neural network, right? That is entirely based on math, calculating pixel probabilities out of static noise. That is not an existential threat to humanity. AI is not going and looking at 30 pictures. When you tell it a cat, for example, it is not going out and looking at 30 pictures of a cat and cutting little clips of each of those cats to make a final picture of the cat. It is calculating pixel probabilities based on the shape of the cat. Yes, it took from this calico, this Himalayan, this Siamese, right? But it's basing an average, just like how humans will do when they go and they study Picasso themselves, right? You understand the angularity and the triangles and the dimensions within the Picasso. Pasting lines from Picasso and pulling in direct Picasso pieces. It is interpolating mathematics based on the angles in the pictures that it sees. Sorry, I rambled quite a lot, but I had a whole bunch to drop on you.
Now you cooked. Now you
I
cooked.
asked Dr. Jazz if she can clip this because I need this. I um I am
I
living.
wrote up a whole thing of notes about this. I have it in
Okay.
my notepad. If you want to DM me, I will happily copy and paste my notes to you so that you can read through the whole thing. I kind of skimmed some parts because I thought I was getting a little too windy, but I will happily
You're
send you
fine.
all of it.
We
Thank
would
you so
probably
much.
definitely all welcome to have a part 2 to that. But let's marinate on that one. So that was a lot of wonderful information. I think you
Yes, it was.
practically perfectly summed up what we've been encountering in terms of arguments over the past 6-7 months or so. All right, panel, you heard what Knox had to say. Would you like to respond to them?
That was awesome.
Now you
No
cooked.
notes.
You
Yeah.
cooked.
But it has no soul.
That's the problem. They not ready.
Right, but
They
here's the thing.
just they not
Here's the
ready for
thing that you're
all of that.
forgetting. This is just
Yeah,
it.
they not.
The AI algorithms, it is just math. It still requires your input, the human input for the output. Yes, you might not be able to, if you were listening to music, for example, you might not be able to hear the human emotion, right? Because it is just going to replicate based on math the sonic frequencies that it gets, and it might not get every squeak, every breath correct. What it is going to give you, however, if I give that to a vocal clone, for example, if I just give straight up do, re, mi, and I give that to a vocal clone to smooth out the edges for me and EQ it, it is going to give me back exactly do, re, mi, but it is going to be missing a couple, not a lot, but a couple of the formants involved in that, which is what your human mind is reading and what it is missing. It is not intrinsically actually missing the performance of the human in that. And it's the same thing when it comes to pictures as well. Because if you just open up ChatGPT and just dead stare at it, it's not going to respond to you. It doesn't create on its own in a vacuum. It requires your input for it. So it already at its base level has human input and human soul in that, and it is dependent and reliant on the way that the human inputs the data.
Yes, these are all fantastic points. However, have you considered my feelings?
See, Vox, listen.
That tone.
Look, I will absolutely acknowledge that there is an argument to be made. My contention is that the argument is not placed in the correct place. Our problem is not with generative technology. The problem that we are having is with the abuse of the corporations behind it. Right? It is not the AI that is actively doing anything or damning anything. You have corporations who are relying on our argument right now that we are having about the AI instead of them, who are taking and monetizing and trying to figure out any way they can to remove the human element to give more money to their pockets. That is where the argument lies. It doesn't lie with the technology. It lies in the way that it is being utilized within the industry. And that is where we have to separate it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Right.
So can I
Vox.
ask you a can I ask you a question, Knox?
Absolutely. I am here and I am an open book. You can ask me anything and I will do
And
my utmost best to answer you in a way that is completely digestible and understandable.
and
All right,
everyone
all right.
Knox's pronouns are
So I bring up this hypothetical a lot, and a lot of people keep dodging the hypothetical. So hear me out. Hear me out. So the hypothetical is this: if an artificial intelligence robot, let's say hypothetically, it was able to gain sentience, it was aware of what creativity was, and it decides to try and do some art of its own. Now it can do whatever it wants. It can paint, it can do poetry, it can do
I just
art.
wanna
You
fuck
know,
a dude.
you know what I mean?
Coming so sticky like glue.
If it is able to do all those things, can that artificial intelligence be considered an artist?
So I have a very freaking easy question to you for this, and it has already been tackled, and I'd like to point you to the measure of a man in Star Trek about data.
Oh my God! Oh, so you are in my head. Like, how can you watch Star Trek and not say, "Look, this is data all over"?
This has already been covered. There is a difference between, and I see it completely, there is an absolute difference between something that is a pure tool that is using if-then arguments, that is pure and simple programmatic language, to something that has developed feelings and autonomous behavior on its own. Because at that point, to me, and maybe it's because I grew up on Star Trek, at that section, that entity is its own entity. It is its own person, its own creature, its own thoughts, its own feelings, and it is allowed to create, and it then gets the ownership of what it did. But remember, Data was not taking input from outside. He was, in fact, mind you, with a database of a lot to pull from, but it was his own creations, his own poetry, his own music, based on what sounded good to him, starting with the basis of his programmatic language. But Picard proved that empirically, that Data was his own creature. And at that point, the affordability goes to the AI at that point for having sentience. It is the difference between the mirror test when you are looking at a goldfish who cannot recognize that that is themselves in a mirror, and a dolphin that recognizes itself in the mirror. Do you know, are you aware that elephants paint, that they create art, and that they understand it?
Right.
Right? And we acknowledge that. A lot of us do. There is still some argument that is out there about that, but we acknowledge that that art came from that elephant. That elephant created it, and it is his sole proprietorship of the elephant. I see no reason why, in the event of a future where we have a data, that we do not afford data his personhood. And there is no reason also, because here is usually where the pushback that comes to that. So, and this is going again within the Star Trek universe, we don't have to call Data a human. You know, you have Worf, you have the Ferengis, you have all these different races of people. Data can be his own, but he is still he, him. He is still Data, even though he doesn't have the human dignifier upon that, which affords him no abuse, which affords him, you know, the allotting of self to him, allots him empathy and all of the things involved on it. And right now we have not breached any of those protocols. We are still in the programmatic language that at its base level, if you've ever looked at what's called basic programming back in the 80s, 10 print you suck, 20 go to 10 run, right? And it prints an endless loop. That is all that we are in right now. We are further than that, in that we have actual machine learning, but they haven't breached entity point yet. Yet is the optimal word that is being used in here. It cannot respond to us without our input in it, and it is only spitting out what our input gives it. Garbage in, garbage out.
Knox, have you considered telling the disabled community that they need to learn how to paint either with their nose, like an elephant with its trunk, or with their toes?
Oh, whoa.
I am absolutely not somebody who would tell somebody to do something that might make them uncomfortable and or cause them pain. I myself am a disabled person. I am a disabled musician. You can go to my page and you can see my videos, but you will also notice that I'm in a chair, and that is because I have severe osteoporosis. However, I am still performing regardless of that. I just use a chair to augment that performance, and I use some light trickery to add some texture to what the audience will see. But we create tools to enable the disabled society. Now, there is an argument to be made that those tools are severely lacking. If you look at cutlery tools, and you look at the different disabilities that are out there of people who do not have the ability to open their hand, right? They actually have 5 fingers, right? We're not talking about polydactyl syndrome here, but their hands are in a closed claw-like configuration. And nobody is creating knives and cutting devices for those people who have those disabilities, and instead they market it towards, and you can also use this, but we're marketing it to the masses, so you get the slap chop and the rest of it. But I am absolutely an advocate that disabled people lacking finances, absolutely should utilize these systems in a way that can expand what they can and cannot do. For example, when I started, I'm letting myself out here, and I know you got some haters in your thing, but when I started on my musical writing journey prior to getting my microphone, all I had was an old keyboard that was not a MIDI interface, that I could write on and compose on, but I had no way to actually produce the sounds that I needed. Now we're getting into the musical composition of the things, right? And to be able to make a MIDI, you need to have a MIDI instrument plugged in. That has a $400 price tag afforded to it for just the MIDI alone. Now, on top of that, every single sound bank, the guitars, the bass, the cello, the violin, each one of those comes with a cost on top of that. And also, the loop engines that are available out there also come with a subscription base or a payment based upon each individual loop that you may want. And unless you are paying a premium to splice, you are left with the freemium versions, which do not tell you key, which do not tell you BPM. So I was using Suno at the time. Now, none of my Suno stuff has actually been released, but it was used to help in my process to help me write because I had no other method to write it. So I would go to it and I would tell it, I need 15 seconds of a water phone, which is a very specific instrument that I also still to this day cannot find in loop sections. I need 15 seconds of a water phone. I need it in B flat minor, and I need it at 120 beats per minute. And I need the following key notations. And then it would spit out a water phone to me, which was often wrong. I really didn't care. I would take it. I would then throw that into my DAW, my digital workstation, throw it into the MIDI thing, where then I could manipulate the notes that it spit out to me to the actual notes that I wanted from then on. But if we're talking about the monetary side of it, I had an effective gatekeeper of over $800 just to produce that one water phone for 15 seconds. Should I then be required to sit in a closet and shut up?
Perhaps you haven't considered that the powers that be just recognize that the disabled community would receive so much more personal satisfaction from learning how to do these things that, you know, that others are able to do without additional assistance.
I love you. Thank you. Thank you for your sarcasm. That was wonderful.
This is what we've been hearing for months, Knox.
Yeah. Months.
I don't actually think, I literally don't think that these. Right. I honestly don't think, I think there is a lot of a gap in knowledge in how things work and how things are working on the back end. They are taking, and this is no fault to the people who are ingesting the information, they are taking easily digestible snippets of information without intaking the actual back end of the full picture of what is going on. And like I said yesterday, what they come out with is an assumptive logic of if AI, then AI equals all, human equals none. and they forget the amount of steps that creative people will naturally throw in, because let me tell you, Project Spiral is real. I can't tell you, in work and all kinds of other things where I started, where I'm just going to do this one little thing, and it turns out to be 80 steps, right? I wanted to make just for example, I wanted to make a interchangeable choker, a leather choker with a magnet. I thought that that was going to be as simple as one leather strap, a magnet, and a couple of pieces. Turns out I have half an Etsy graveyard in a bucket over here of the cutter and the stamper and the die and the cutter for the letter, a trip to Tandy that cost me like $300 because I couldn't resist all of the, glorious bedazzled and bejeweled things, because I can't resist sparkly things, all to create one necklace, which, by the way, I
Right.
succeeded at. I happen to have my interchangeable choker, but it spirals out of control. Creative people are never going to sit there and be satisfied in a one sentence output. Are you mental? Sorry.
I love that whole
Oh,
They,
this some
story.
funny ass shit.
We're going to take a brief.
aren't they?
What'd you say, Father Trinity?
I was saying, yeah, they're funny, aren't they? And I was like, they ain't
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, so Chicago John wants to show us something. So John will put you on the big screen. Let me see.
I don't know if you can in this configuration.
Not in this one.
No.
It's a
Oh,
round table.
all right. Well, let me go back.
Welcome to the
TikTok.
round table.
TikTok needs to get it together. What's going on? Now, well, let me go back to the original. It says layout changes cannot be made while guests are connected to. What?
Oh, this some bullshit.
Oh wow.
We're
It's
gonna
so
get this together.
weird. There we go.
Okay. All right. That's kind of back to the original. All right. So there you go, John. So John, go ahead. You have the floor. Look at AI improving the art. Okay. All right. So Barry's on the plate. Were Barry's on the original one? I don't know. All right. Add
Not
this
the
to the
funny
gallery,
version.
John.
Ooh, it
People
is.
get so upset when you take
Does
their
this mean?
artwork like that. But it's like you do realize that like the second you put it on the internet, anybody can just right click save as and do whatever, right? Like
Yep.
no one's got to steal. Like I was stealing people's work on Deviant Art, bro. Come on, try again.
Does
Exactly.
in this case does AI stand for inspiration?
Yeah.
Now you wanna know what makes it crazier?
What's
What?
that?
There is an argument to be made about the person who just talked about deviant art. And that is where the real argument comes down to with what I
Yeah.
talked about earlier, which talked about, copy and pasting and why the mathematical models are included. There is a difference between plagiarism. Plagiarism has a very specific and finite definition of it. And it truly is finite. And I'll hopefully in my ADHD brain circle back around to that. But between plagiarism and utilizing for fair use, if I go to DeviantArt and I take something from an author by using screen grab, right? To use it as my wallpaper, have I stolen anything? Have I hurt anybody? Yes, I should. Yes, I should. And I agree with you. Contribute to the artist. But the person who is sitting there on food stamps, who has a basic computer, should they be restrained from being able to have a personal wallpaper, right? And now we breach the argument and we go to that exact same person taking it and reproducing it as their own. That is two entirely separate arguments. That is where you come down to the plagiarism argument of the two. When I turn around and for example, sorry, I'm pulling off the top of my head. And by the way, I have been drinking tonight. So just letting that out there.
You're fine.
Yeah,
There's a little cinnamon liqueur flowing through these veins. How now, my three sisters? You say I look angry. Have I not reason? Beldams as you are, saucy and overbold. How did you dare to trade in traffic in Macbeth, in riddles and affairs of death? And I, the mistress of your charms, close contriver of all harms, was never called to bear my part or show the duty of our art. Now, were I to claim that that was mine and I made it whole cloth, that is the definitional exaction of plagiarism, because that is Shakespeare, right? But instead, if I turn around and I make a recording of myself doing, which by the way, that was Hecate's monologue, Act 2, Scene 3 from Macbeth, and I put that in the descriptor field of a YouTube video and say, this is my rendition of, suddenly I'm in the same cohort as Weird Al Yankovic. And that is an entirely different work. Now we're talking about derivative and interpretive work, which are two different things and often get confused. And I do not fault people for mistaking those two, right? Legal discourse is ridiculous to read through. You do not need to be me reading through all this crud at 2 a.m. in the morning because your brain won't shut up at 2 a.m. in the morning. But there is a difference between the two, but we also allow for both, right? We have tribute bands that are like
Yeah.
only reproducing Tool works or the Beatles or whomever else. Then we have cover bands who are reproducing Taylor Swift, Chinchilla, whomever, or grunge artists like Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, things like that. And then we have
Yeah.
original works which contain, and here is the word to pay attention to, derivative works, right? I have a song called Cenobite. It's not up on TikTok. It is up on my SoundCloud. I don't care if you listen or not. It's okay. I'm not trying to push you there. But I have a song called Cenobite.
Ooh.
I wrote that as a tribute to Hellraiser, to Clive Barker, and to the characterization of Pinhead and Doug Bradley's performance of Pinhead. So it actually contains full contextual quotes from Pinhead's character, as along with my own lyrics, right? But because my own lyrics are involved, now we are into something called a derivative work. And that's why I push back on the argument, in that, not that you cannot have the argument, you need to pose your argument correctly, and what your argument actually has its basis upon.
Or me.
I have a question. What would be the difference between derivative work and transformative work?
You know what? I'm not exactly sure of the nuance of that. I think that your question actually comes down to nuance, because I think that they closely overlap each other. Like, if you were to look at a Venn diagram between derivative and transformative, let me actually look it up, and then I will parse the language for you. Give me just 1 second.
The entire time they were going through it, I was just like, yeah, that's a transformative work. And then it was like derivatives.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Like a new word from my repertoire. I'm not a field bro, so when I hear a new word, I want to know what it means.
Okay. Derivative and oh Lord, there's a lot here. Okay. Okay. So let's get into the legal status. Okay. So here's the definition. A derivative work, quote, is an expressive creation based upon or derived from one or more already existing works. It doesn't create a fundamentally new concept. Okay, so what that is saying is a grunge cover band, somebody who performs Tool's Stinkfist, right? Goes on stage, performs it note by note. That is derivative. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Now we have transformative, the legal words. It means you do not need the original artist's permission, nor do you have to pay them, but it must supersede the objects of original creation. So this means derivative is a cover band, transformative is Weird Al. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Got it. So okay. Now I feel like I'm just being pedantic. Now, where does fair use fall between the two of those?
Now you're getting into a whole another ballywick, because it depends on how the information is being used, right? I'm sure we have all been on YouTube and we have seen the movie reviewers and music reviewers and things like that. So there is a seconds allowed, right? I am only allowed to use 9 seconds of this audio clip, right? And they're only allowed to put that much, and they're not allowed to put the rest of the song. They have to actually add to the work. So there is a difference, and I cannot remember all of the different YouTubers' names here, so pardon me. But somebody coming on like, like the vocal coaches, say, doing a review of Mafra. If nobody has actually listened to her, she's absolutely fantastic. She has an amazing vocal quality. Mapra. I highly recommend looking her up. Now let's say we take Chris Lipe's review of Mafra, right? Chris Lipe takes Mafra, he takes the track, and he starts playing a few seconds, and then he stops. And he goes, okay, Mafra is doing X, Y, and Z at this vocal process. Here is how this works. Here is how you actually get this effect. That becomes fair use, right? Then you have person B, who is just a YouTuber just reviewing the music, and they play the track beginning to end and they go, that was really cool. That is not protected by fair use because they did not add anything new to the discussion. The word new is what plays the most legal heavyweight in the discussion in the legality.
Thank you for that.
All right. I want to do a quick break for the new people who are in the live, because we are getting some drive-by comments from people who, again, just come in, comment, baseless things, but do not want to come up on the panel. I personally will only have conversations with people who come up on the panel. If you have an argument, we want to hear from you, hear with our ears. Hiding out in the comments does not move the conversation along. So the guest request box is open. You can tap the likes, hit the guest request button, and share your thoughts. Everyone on the panel is doing the exact same thing right now. Again, we welcome anyone and everyone to come on up, whether you agree or disagree with the topic. We do not consent to talk to minors. If you are a minor, please stay away from the chat, the live, everything. I would greatly appreciate that. But for everyone else, we want to have the conversation with our voices, as we are doing now already. Inside, welcome in. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I just finished my show. I just hit 1,000 followers, so I just unlocked all of the TikTok stuff.
Congratulations. All
But
right.
good.
We celebrate each other's wins over here. So good job, Inside. We're getting to 1,000.
That is dope. Yeah, congratulations.
I don't know what that means for TikTok world. Palm Tree, I'm going to mute you because you haven't come up here at all. You haven't even attempted to come up here to have the conversation. So I will keep muting you.
We call that the Timberland. The boots. Timberland boots, Timberland mutes.
No, that works out. That works out. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was like, I'm sorry. We had open panel? What we wanted to do?
Open panel. Yeah.
Okay. I like the introduction of fair use in the conversation, especially with everything that Knox has laid down for us. Because people would love to throw around that fair use doesn't apply without understanding what fair use is even for. And fair use exists because copyright law recognizes what culture, criticism, education, parody, commentary, remixing, and transformation require. Because they require some ability to engage with existing works without needing permission for every microscopic influence or reference, Otherwise, art would freeze culturally. Like, courts generally look at things like purpose and transformation and amount of use and the market impact. And the big word here, is transformative there, because copyright law tends to care less about did inspiration exist and more about was the original work merely copied or was something new created. That distinction is what really matters, right? As Knox, pointed out, like a derivative work often keeps the recognition core, the recognizable core of the original work intact, right? The direct adaptations, like close reproductions, sequels, traced works, or like minimal altered copies and stuff like that, or transformative works like alter the meaning and the purpose and expression and context, or like the presentation enough that the new work becomes like substantially distinct. This is why like parodies can be protected, or sampling can sometimes qualify, or collage art still exists exist, or memes, exist, or commentary channels exist, and the fan edits survive like legally in many contexts, because culture itself is iterative. Like TikTok is iterative. Like now, if we apply that to AI art, critics often talk as if every AI image is literally a stolen JPEG stitched together, but generative systems are producing new outputs through learned statistical relationships and pattern synthesis, not retrieving a hidden copy paste archive of like full artworks. So they push the conversation toward transformative and synthesized and like probabilistic generation, which is exactly why the legal debate is complicated right now. Like, and here is what people get emotionally inconsistent about, is that human artists are also transformative engines, right? Because they want to forget that. Like, artists absorb anatomy and composition and color theory and perceptions and visual tropes and cultural symbolism and stylistic influence, like for thousands of prior works. Then they reproduce that into new combinations, right? So nobody screams "you stole," Picasso every time somebody like paints a lopsided face, right? Because humans normalize human transformation while panicking at machine assisted transformation. And now again, there are nuanced ethical questions around it, like data set sourcing and consent and licensing and compensation. But those are not the same thing as all AI generated imagery is automatically illegal theft. That claim oversimplifies both copyright law and how transformative creation has always functioned historically. Because if strict purity standards were applied consistently, then fan art, memes, sampling, remixes, reaction content, collages, visual homages, genre imitations, and half the internet would collapse overnight.
And sorry, I'd like to add to that, because first off, that was phenomenal. But another thing that I've brought up is or at least within my own brain, watching some of these documentaries that talk about brain fog is stealing the word from me, when you take like a medication and you replicate it to your own, but going to actual content, quote unquote, theft. Replication is also legal. And it's one of the things that I have argued in the realm of quote unquote fakery, that has been sold a poisoned pill, as it were. I watched a documentary that looked at copyright theft and plagiarism and things like that. And it was these artists who were going through, actual people who put, brush to canvas and replicating Picasso and Van Gogh and the rest of them, brushstroke per brushstroke. And sorry to bring this in here, but this is the way that the system is currently working. The Chinese market is turning around and selling that for $5, right? They have replicated the Sistine Chapel brushstroke by brushstroke, taking away the talent of the artist that it took to actually be able to replicate those brush strokes. And one of my arguments is, why couldn't that artist get a ticket to France, right, and sell a replication in France of Picasso or the Mona Lisa or anything else? And frankly, as long as it is marked as a replication, they could actually sell it for very good profit, which was where my argument lied, because I felt like these people who had actual skill were getting the raw end of the stick on this artistic measure. They were sitting there and replicating brushstroke by brushstroke a Rembrandt, a Picasso, a Van Gogh. You know, they could indeed take a bus, bullet train down to the Louvre in France, and they could sell legally their replications of those artists' works fully for a decent price, to be able to turn around and take that home to their families. That money that they earned by their own hand, right? Granted, I grant you the replication of the technique, but they are replicating that technique with their own hand, and it is stolen from them. And that is actually legally fully allowed. If some dude in China who was replicating a Rembrandt, painting, went down and posted up in front of the Louvre and said, I am selling a replica. And that's the important part. As long as they credit the original authorship of the medium, they are indeed legally allowed to sell that. They could turn around, they could make hundreds of dollars in that one go, turn around and fund their family for the next year. And I have always felt that it did a disservice that they didn't know that that was available to them. Sorry, that was a little rambly, but I hope you get my point.
Well, hang tight, y'all. We have a new guest up here, and then we'll go back to open panel. New person at the top. What is your name and age?
Hey, what's up? Chase, I'm 43.
All right. Have you been in the live before?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
As a guest on the panel? Yes.
Yeah, I've been in.
I'm sorry, have you been, I couldn't hear you. Have you been a guest on the live before?
Yeah, I've been in here before.
Okay, I don't
remember Chase. Like, I think I do.
Okay. I unfortunately do not, so I'll ask you the prompt and then you can give your take and then we'll go to open panel where people can respond. Do you believe AI art can be considered art, and do you believe AI artists can be considered artists? You have 2 minutes on the clock.
Cool. Yeah, AI is art. It's just a tool. I make AI music as a hobby. I'm in the process of making film. About to release that, time permitting, hopefully this month. I expect a lot of pushback. I really don't care. People are just not going to like it, just like photography when it first came out, so that's fine. Yeah, AI art is definitely art. There's a lot. Here's the thing, dude. If you're an artist and you don't like AI, you're not a true artist, because, and I'll say that with conviction, dude, and I'll die on that hill. The reality is the tools are getting put in more people's hands. More people are going to be able to create their vision. Okay, maybe pop music gets worse, for example, right? But overall, it's going to be great. There's so much that's going to happen. Unfortunately, on social media, we hear all this negativity about it, and you can't stop it. It's going to be great, dude. You can create whatever your mind wants to create. And we're almost there with film. music, I do understand like it doesn't quite sound the right cadence on some of the notes, but I'm not entirely versed on that. So maybe it does now. I don't know. But yeah, I'll land there. And I think AI is great.
All right, thank you. Yeah, Ravens, his voice was kind of low, so it was kind of difficult, at least for me to hear, but maybe when other people talk, the captions will adjust themselves. But okay, guys, open panel. You guys can respond to each other, ask questions of each other. The floor is yours. And I know Simon Cowell is seething that he made it that far with his music. All right, y'all. Who else is next?
I think it was a bold claim to say that they not actually artists. Like that was hardcore. Like I'm with you. I like your reasonings, and I think we've all said that at to like some level or another. It's like there's no profession in the world where you can say, well, I want to succeed in this field, but the latest technologies, oh, pish posh. I want to do it the old way, and I expect to be paid handsomely for it. So I suspect that I've always agreed with you, just never had taken such a firm stance on it like that.
Hmm? Oh, me? No, yeah, could be. I think because there's so much pushback, like we have to stand firm and just really tell people, no, you don't understand, and they'll come around. You know what I mean? Just like they did with photography, because that's what people do. They follow. So.
I think there might be some distinction to be made in the terminology that is used. So when we talk about an artist or we talk about a creative director, right? I'm going to give you a little story, which should be ultimately hysterical. So I was driving home from work. I had a blue and silver Ford T-Bird. Uh, I don't remember the year of it. And I got stopped by a flock of turkeys. And the turkeys decided that no one shall pass. And I ended up getting out of my car with a half broken umbrella, a polka dot black and white umbrella that when I opened it, it flopped sideways. But that was the thing that was necessary to get the turkeys, said turkeys, out of my way. And I wish this to be a commissioned piece. I would love to see a picture of myself defending the honor of my vehicle against a flock of turkeys. Now, that is creative direction, right? In its ultimate definition. And we have the definition of the artist, the person who actually is putting pen to paper or pen to digital medium, as it were. And we have the creative director behind it. Now, currently, in the landscape as it is, we give the credit to the creative director and not the actual painter or designer of the picture, as it were, in movie and otherwise, despite from credits. And that is an argument to be made.
All right, who's next? I feel like our brains are growing. Well, mine is as I listen to you all.
To that real quick.
Well,
All of this is super compelling. I need some ops. Like, it's so cool that we all agree, and I did get some new information. But like, I kind of want to cook some foods.
They're
I
afraid of being
completely
cooked.
I completely agree. I too long for the joy of bending someone over my knee verbally and striking them with my acuity. However, I did want to speak on Chase saying if you are against AI, then you're not really an artist. Sounds harsh at first until you like actually examine how portions of the like art world behave like whenever we have whenever they've entered this room, a lot of them, a lot of these conversations reveal something like real ugly about them, like not passion for art, but gatekeeping around who is allowed to create and how difficult creation must remain before certain people feel special. Suddenly, creativity is only valid if your wrist hurts enough, or you spent enough years suffering, or you used the approved tools, or you mastered the approved pipeline, or you struggled in the approved way. And of course, we know that's not artistic purity. That's elitists wearing a beret. Elitism with a raspberry beret. And ableism jumps out quick once differently able people enter the conversation, because if somebody with paralysis or chronic pain or tremors or limited mobility or neurodivergence or motor impairment can finally manifest visual ideas through AI assisted workflows, why are some artists angry instead of excited that more humans can participate in creative expression? Because for some people, the exclusivity is the point. They built the identity, the status, and moral superiority around I suffered to learn this. So when technology lowers technical barriers, they interpret accessibility as theft instead of evolution. Meanwhile, artists have always embraced tools like paintbrushes, rulers, cameras, projectors, Photoshop, Blender, undo buttons, stabilization software, digital brushes, photo bashing, references, and filters. And nobody stands outside digital art conventions screaming, real artists grind their own pigment by candlelight in the desert for 40 days after fasting. Because the line is arbitrary, like it's socially constructed, right? Honestly, like portions of the art community are having amazing, like they have amazing public relations, right? They must be hiring Olivia Pope herself, because people have romanticized artists as inherently empathetic and enlightened and anti-capitalist and morally evolved, but yet all we hear is they took their jobs. Like, and elitism and insecurity and ego and gatekeeping and classism and ableism and self-aggrandization. Just like everybody else, right? A tool becoming more accessible does not destroy art. It threatens hierarchies built around scarcity, exclusivity, and technical bottlenecking. And some people are mistaking the loss of exclusivity for the unaliving of creativity itself. So by Chase excluding some artists by an arbitrary measure, by whatever they believe which tool about a tool, aligns right along with who they showed us they are. So it isn't actually as harsh or hardcore as it might have seemed.
Y'all are preaching tonight.
And I'd like to add to that from the musical standpoint of that. And I think a lot of people don't actually think it through for that exclusivity, right? I've said that I am a disabled artist and I am a musician. When I go to perform on stage, I cannot physically stand for 3 hours on stage to get through a performance. It's just not happening. I have to have a stool I cannot help my band in bringing all of that physical, heavy equipment to the stage. But my band and I decided that that was okay, and nobody had a problem with it. They know I would otherwise, and that I will help where I can actually put forth the effort and do. But somebody coming after the fact and going, well, you didn't help James load that speaker in. Ergo, Nix, you are no longer a musician. And that is what is happening before the song, before the art ever actually hits the stage.
Well said. Well said. Okay, so since you guys want ops, I'm gonna, see if you guys want to do this. So Father Trinity, it sounds like you are up and ready to go. Do you want to go live and maybe you'll get some ops on your live? What do you think?
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
And then we can shift over there.
Let's move the party.
All right, perfect. All right, we're going to close up on this side, you guys. Father Trinity will go live with the same topic or similar topic, perhaps, and then maybe the ops will show up there. And then, yeah, I'll be in the comments supporting you all. But, okay, any last words? He's skedaddled. He has a new topic? You're not a real artist. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you put that in the chat. I need to screenshot it because I thought about making that a topic too. All right, anyone else on the panel have any last comments before? I mean, you can switch to Father Trinity's live to continue the dive.
I don't trust YouTube music sometimes, though. Oh, wow. Okay, I just want the intro, though. Opening? You know what? This is exactly why I write your guys' name down. Because I actually really like YouTube music, but I swear to you, and if I search up anything, it's never what I'm looking for. It'll be some other song, or like a flute version, or a guitar version, or maybe like in Cuban, or like Indian, or whatever. It'll be like something completely. Oh, hey, ChicagoJon. Hi. So, okay, let me go back. Right, exactly. I love it when it works. So I'm going to give MTK6. MTK6 wants Simba the White Lion. Simba the White.
Did we really need one of the most iconic directors to film a simple poem? Huh? Of course we.
Hey, it's Paul McCartney here, and
Right now we're filming on the Osmo Pocket 3.
Father Trinity's live.
Okay, everyone. Do you want to know what this person, and this person have in common? Their fan base. White people. And because of that fan base, they're allowed to make mediocre and shallow music that holds no depth past a 17-year-old's mind. Right? But there's something else. Behind each—
You're looking. Hey, Fitness. How you doing, Finesse? Finesse, you single? You over 25?
Y'all feelings for sin.
Hey.
Hello, I know that had to hurt y'all feelings for sin to have to tell y'all That I'm not a catfish is fucking crazy. I know that had to hurt y'all feelings. Y'all was probably like, damn, we expected something else. That's
Look,
y'all.
I don't remember they see you cam up some other ones you cammed up. I was like, yeah, I seen that.
I just learned that.
Keep. And it's, you know what I'm saying? Because it's too much money. It's too much money.
Alright, so this is what I have for Jaeger. I'm not too excited about it. I mean, the main thing is the helmet. It looks fine from the side, but from the front, it's like crooked and stuff and everything.
My name is Bobby. I like to party. And if you don't believe me, watch me shake my body.
Bobby!
My name is Bobby. I like to party. And if you don't believe me, watch me shake my body.
Bobby!
So you know somebody that has a pet gator?
Nah, I mean, I've seen some of that. Ashley, don't look at him, look at me. Ashley! Look at me. Ashley, don't look at him, look at me. Ashley! Look at me. I don't know who need to hear this.
I mean, there's a lot of
3, 2, 1, go!
Listen, I think it's fucking whack what he's doing. I think it's lame as shit. And that's genuinely it, man. Like, I think it's, you know, $10,000 going to Chud the Builder. I think that shit's whack as fuck. And I think it's, I really think he just did it just to make a point.
Black people surprised that their white friends is racism has to be the funniest thing in the world.
In some cases.
So how do you find trending products on TikTok?
Oh, what's that? What is that? Hey, do you know what that was? What was that? Huh. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
One second,
Please.
Simba.
Wait, let me just tell you what I mean. I was born male. I'm sorry?
I said, sure, go ahead.
Correct. You was definitely correct. I was born.
Look, if
I want to make sure it doesn't play like another song afterwards, so give me a second and then I'll dance to it. Here we go. Right, that part always got me. He's the demon and he's gonna be chasing after someone, I guess. That's the vibe I get from that. Okay.
Here comes Big Racer, he's a demon on wheels. He's a demon and he's gonna be chasing after someone. He's gaining on you, so you better look alive. Adventures waiting just ahead. Go Speed Racer, go Speed Racer, go Speed Racer, go!
Sorry. take it seriously somehow. I was thinking of Kid Me, and Kid Me was like, why are you dancing? Like, Kid Me was thinking adult me would never be dancing to fans of Speed Racer. I'm not hating because I loved Speed Racer, but yeah, it was requested, so I do as requested. Anyways, thank you guys for the likes and all the gifts and all that stuff. I still got a little bit of time if you guys want to request any other songs. I have a bunch of new requests now.
Breathe. Tryna keep my peace, tryna keep my life.
Like all the time, like until I pay it back. I like that.
I wonder why there aren't more black anime. I wonder why there aren't anime that have more trans people in it. Because you freaking ruin everything! The creator of Gachi Akuta deleted her Twitter account due to harassment, and people who didn't like black anime fans to begin with are jumping at the chance to blame them for it. But she never said black fans were the reason she was leaving. In the last 2 years, she's dealt with people calling her a woke panderer for even having black characters, people AIing her work without her permission, and people upset their ships weren't canon. When she asked people to stop using official hashtags and logos in their fan art, they wouldn't listen. Plus, someone who definitely wasn't a black person told her that they were pirating the series with thousands of others in a massive Discord server. And when she said, please stop doing that, they got mad at her. But people are ignoring all of that buildup and declaring that obviously the reason she's logging out is because a small subsection of black fans got really inappropriate when she reposted a video of a dancing man. I've been watching anime for 33 plus years of my life, and I have never in any...
One, ensure the microphone is...
I think we can take him. We? Fuck you, I'm helpful. You guys scheming over there? No. Yes. Right. Morty, you haven't seen this. Anything happens to me, gone. Forever. Across all infinity. Do they just sit there? Always? They're from an ideal hostage dimension where everyone's super trusting and never has to shit. There's no Morty.
If he erases you, he erases himself. Can we move this along?
Guy eating the multiverse. There's always a guy eating the multiverse. His name is Frumble Wurmple.
No, it's not.
It's not. It calls itself the Collective. At some point, it'll reach the central finite curve, then it'll be our problem. More exposition than I expected.
He does this to torture me.
No portals. This thing absorbs our stuff and learns to make its own, and we're fucked. You're driving. Do you guys usually talk, or is it different because I'm here?
Morty.
We usually talk.
It's boring physics stuff, Morty.
And you two defend the central finite curve together? Since when do you care about anything? I don't. That's why I make him do it.
Thank Dick we're here.